Welcome to Let's Talk Tango with Sean and Allison, a podcast where we discuss the magical world of tango, its stories, music, and history. From beginners to professional, social dancing to the stage, we discover this mysterious dance together. Today we have an episode about Allison going to her first milonga since the pandemic. Will she remember all of her tango skills? Keep listening to find out. Then we have a tango tip for you, a fun way to challenge yourself and level up your dance. Stay tuned.
Hi, Sean!
Hey, Allison!
Guess what I'm doing tonight?
So, I don't know. What are you? You sound very excited.
I'm going to a milonga!
Whoa! Very cool.
Yay! I'm so excited. This will be my first milonga since the pandemic.
Wow. So that's like 18 months of no tango.
Yeah, it's been way too long. A lot of people have already gone back to tango. You know, I've been away from New York, so I haven't been. I am in San Diego, which is a completely new city for me. I've never been to a milonga here, so it's good as a place of any to start again.
That's cool. Have you ever danced with anyone from that area?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. I mean, people travel around all the time, so oftentimes at tango festivals, you know, you might meet someone from a different city, but I think everyone there will be new to me.
Wow. All right, that should be really exciting. Did you bring shoes and everything for the occasion?
Oh, of course. I mean, I didn't leave the house without my shoes. So I have my gold Camilfo tango shoes. I had bought them right before the pandemic, which was really annoying.
Wow.
So I'm kind of nervous, though.
You're nervous? Why? You're so good.
Aw, well, it's just, I don't know. I feel like some of my tango muscles are a little bit out of shape. I've tried to do things like jogging and stretching and strength training exercises. But, you know, there's just certain motions that you just don't do as much by yourself, even though I probably should have been. There's like exercises to kind of like get that flexibility in the torso that we've talked about, which I have not been doing.
So what are you hoping to accomplish at the milonga?
Well, I'm hoping to accomplish getting over my nerves, because it's just like ripping off a Band-Aid. You have to just do it. Everyone has gone through this before, where they've just been in the pandemic, hiding in their rooms. Okay, at some point, we've all got to start living life again. Or if you're listening to this way after the pandemic, to have your first milonga after taking a few tango classes, and how nerve-wracking that is.
Just remember, it sucked, you know?
Yeah. Right? It doesn't get better. But you know what? Tango is all about that connection. And so you just kind of have to believe in yourself. And so I'm just going to be like, I'm Tango Allison. I'm here to no one puts baby in a corner. I'm here to dance. Get out of my way, you know.
Yep. So I'm curious, you know, you said you're Tango Allison. Do you have a different set of different personality? You develop different set of emotions that, you know, once you step into the milonga, you have a different persona?
Oh my God. You know what? I don't think I have a different persona. I think it's the real persona.
The real persona. Okay. So the way you're hanging out, you're talking to people, that's a masked up version of you.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but this is where the mask comes off. This is like the real Allison. Oh, I think, no, it's not that the other encounters are the fake Allison, but it's more like, I think everyone has these different layers to them, and tango is so passionate, and there's that darkness to it, which just can't be denied. And so there's definitely that part of me.
So how is Tango Allison different from, you know, regular day-to-day Allison?
Tango Allison, she takes no prisoners.
No prisoners.
She just owns the dance floor, in my mind. I think everyone wants to be that person. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of like a movie, because sometimes you're the character where you go in and you're like so nervous and you're a beginner and you're like seeing everyone else. And maybe you have this experience where you see someone and it's like, oh, they're amazing. I want to dance like them. But what's interesting is like you finally realize it's all all in your head,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe that person that you're admiring so much, they're having a bad night and like they don't see themselves that way. And so there's just these tropes like you find in novels. It's not that it's not real, but the fact is that it's real in your mind, and that's what leads you to make certain decisions.
Mm.
And so it might as well be, even if it's not real for the other person, it's real for you. This idea that you're trying to reach.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Do you do any kind of affirmations or do any kind of pre milonga dance floor ritual?
You know, I do think it's important to really clear yourself emotionally, and something like affirmations I think can really help, because I want to be confident, but I don't want to be full of myself,
Mm-hmm.
because if anything, you want this pure communication. Like you need enough of a spine to hold yourself up, but you don't want it to be like full of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want to have that confidence, what I'd prefer is just to really get into it in the dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. For me, really good tango is sort of like when you're having conversation with somebody that knows you, and they're not cutting you off to finish your sentence or anything. But when you say something and they receive it in a certain way, and you go, "Ah, that's what I meant. I'm very smart," and you feel like you're being taken in, the best version of what you said.
Oh, that's beautiful. Where you feel listened to. Because everyone there is just like trying their best. And I think I had a lot of experiences in the past where just so many men literally on the dance floor like pushing you around, telling me what to do.
Sometimes verbally, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, in tango and in life, it's like being on the dance floor and having these experiences where like men are just pushing you around and you don't feel like my opinion was important and my artistry was important. They just dismissed those. It's easy when you have those experiences to build up this really strong shell and kind of come out fighting, but that's not going to give me the best tango. I need to take my defenses down.
Yeah, that's, just have enough of a defense to the point where you're not going to have a bad time just because somebody else was in a bad place, but to also be open to all the possibilities that you could have first Milonga after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, Allison, I will say something about, what you said, the Tango Allison personality when you said you own the dance floor, you are really, that is really the first impression that I think everybody had at Jenny's place when you first showed up, because
Oh my God.
the practice, it's a mixed level kind of thing, and we have a lot of beginners there, and you just showed up and it was, I think you were wearing something fairly light colored, so it was reflecting light. So it was literally like there was a spotlight on you almost. We turned down the lights and everything, and everybody was just going, "Who is this?" People are trying to get the cross, people are trying to get the ocho, and they're like stopping mid ocho, and then they look up and there's you. You just completely. Some people literally just. I was talking to this one Chinese girl that was there, and she just sat down and she looked, and I was like, no, you don't have to feel discouraged. And she was like, no, 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 I just feel like I'm in the presence of art.
Oh my God, that's so nice. Oh my God, I'm like blushing over here. That is so sweet.
Yeah,
That's giving me all the confidence
I
tonight.
know. Well, you should be, as you should be. I think first time in, you should be make it so memorable. People are months after, they're like, where is that person? Where, somebody talked to her. I think somebody said she was from New York. Somebody else said she was from Montana. Where is she?
Aw. Well, I'll let you know how it goes.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Allison. How's everything?
Things are good. Things are very
Things are
good.
very good. Yeah, you sound like you're feeling very good after the last Milonga.
It was amazing. I had the most amazing time. I totally feel like, like all those dance movies where the character comes back after a slump, or like the Rocky movies, or basically like any movie.
Yeah. You walk into slow mo, everybody stops doing what they're doing.
Exactly. It went really well. The first night, it was actually just a practica, and it was okay. But I just like wasn't as excited because it was a practica.
Right.
And for our listeners, we were talking about why you get dances sometimes and why you don't get dances sometimes. And one of the main reasons that you don't get dances is because if no one knows you, because everyone is watching the dance floor, they want to get the best dances possible. So if they don't know if you're a good dancer, like they're not necessarily going to risk it because they don't want to have their reputation decrease. But still, I had like a few dances that Wednesday and it was nice. I was worried that I had forgotten how to dance tango, but I remembered. It was also just neat to hear so many songs again because I haven't been listening to a whole lot of tango during the pandemic because it just like makes me think of all the things I'd rather be doing than being in a pandemic. And so all the songs come back, all the memories come back. Well, one of the things that I heard once is that like every time you listen to a song, you're listening to the song as well as all the other times you're have listened to that song. And so for all these super evocative, beautiful tango lyrics, these themes come back, you know, of love and longing and it's, you know, just so many sweet themes. And it's like, oh yeah, this feeling.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean by when you hear a song, you hear the other times, especially if you have, you know, tango evokes a lot of emotions. And if you have strong emotions associated with a song, definitely things will come back. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of tango music during pandemic because for me, it evokes memories for me and it makes me feel less like I've been away from tango.
Yeah.
Do you feel like though that when you have that memory, sometimes you end up not being as present or you dance with your memory as less so as a person in front of you? Or do you feel like that's part of what you bring, your memories, your reactions, you know, your history to that particular dance with that person?
Oh gosh. It's a little bit of both. And it's like you have to really strike that balance because you know, you don't want to just get lost in a daydream, like you want to be super present. And in fact, Saturday, so like Wednesday was the practice, but Saturday was just like, or no, actually it was Friday, was just like best day ever when there was the actual Malanga. And I was just thinking about how to connect with people because like I'm kind of embarrassed to say that like in New York, I was so concerned with practicing that I didn't dance with a lot of new people a lot of the time. But now I was in this situation where I was with all these new people and like how to focus in is just such an important tango lesson. The more present you are with that other person, like when they really feel like you're listening to them, that's where the magic happens. That's where the guys have the biggest reactions. And you just have to kind of suspend to one side what you think what you should be doing and like what you think is right, patterns of movement or patterns of behavior before, and just like really listen, because the difference between kind of being together versus really being together is just such a magical feeling.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like the same movements can happen and it could even feel really nice, but if somebody's not present, you can definitely feel there's a little bit of a detachment. It's not even a lag in the reaction. It's just the quality isn't there, the energy isn't matched perfectly. You know, you can definitely feel that when somebody's not present for sure. Yeah. So you were really focusing on being present then at this milonga, and
I was. And being open. I think that's the thing because and this is where the pandemic just like shook everyone up and just spat out everyone on their heads. Everyone. There's not anyone that the pandemic didn't change.
Yeah.
I can't just rely on the same people that I'm used to seeing. I had to be open-minded and just create the best experiences. And because I was nervous for those same reasons, because it's like, well, I want the good dances, and so I don't want to dance with beginners, but I'm in a city that I've never been in before, so like I don't know anyone. So the only thing you can do is just like, yeah, just be open to new experiences. And that's the thing. I remember being in New York and just like being kind of bored or being kind of jaded. Just like anything in life, like you get better and better experiences, and so then you keep wanting better and better experiences. And it's like annoying because it's just kind of like trying like the good wines or the good cheeses or the good chocolates. You just keep wanting the good stuff. And like you're ruined because now you have good taste. So it's just like so much cheaper when you had bad taste, you know?
oh yeah,
So like I just like wanted better and better and better. But the ironic thing is you can't get better and better reaching for it. You get better and better by creating it. And I just had this realization where I was like, oh my gosh, all the tango dancers who are like beginners are probably having an even more authentic tango experience than I am, because if you put on all your best outfits, had that anticipation like, oh, will so and so be there? All of that excitement, that's tango. Me being jaded, like that's not tango. The beginners are having the better experience.
Yeah, and based on what you said, the creating that energy, that togetherness, that's such a key part of tango. So even if it's somebody who's not as skilled, if you can create that connection, I think that's a such a big part of tango. You can dance with somebody who's very skilled, professional even, and if your energies aren't keyed in the same way, sometimes you can't get the same quality of connection. If you can get that with somebody who's more of a social dancer, or even somebody who's closer to the beginner, but you have that togetherness, even if it doesn't look as flashy and very intricate, it could still be a very good tango experience.
Oh, for sure. And I think like I definitely want to keep taking that responsibility to make it a good dance and not just rely on someone else as well, because like they want a good tango experience too. So like I need to bring my best game for them. Just like any kind of relationship, like the more you give, it gets better and better. I guess I was taking kind of a passive role before and just be like, I want someone to make me look good, but now it's like, well, I could make them look good. I'm the boss. I'm that bitch.
When you first showed up, I told you that everybody was kind of really just taken by you. I was really like that too, because you were doing so many things that I've never seen before. And just based on my experience, I was like, people who are that skilled, it's like that investment in the energy thing. I'm like, well, if I dance with her, like she'll probably be just so much better than me. And the connection wouldn't be as good, because she will feel like she's not, whatever, and then she won't be as present, because she'll be wanting to do all these moves that I don't know how to lead. But the funny thing is, you're very different from all the people that are super, super skilled, in that just from the first step, I really felt keyed in with you. So I don't know what it is about the way you approach dancing, but with dancing with a lot of people who are, even professional level dancers, I didn't feel that same, keyed inness. Whereas you had both the, cool technique and looking really good, but also, didn't feel like you were just leaving me behind.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Sean, that's the nicest thing ever. You always make me feel better.
That's good.
But thank you. That's like the best compliment, because like that's what I want is and that's what tango is to me, is that connection. It's not about showing off. I think it was Guillermina Quiroga who said this. And for our listeners, Guillermina Quiroga is like the most badass person I know. She's my hero. She was in this tango movie, and she's been dancing for decades and like still at the top of her game. The best advice ever that she gave is that like you're dancing for one person, and that's your partner. Even though it's a very like public scene where you're going and people are watching and there's like all these like subplots, despite all of that, you're dancing for one person, and that is the person in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if what people look for when they look for dancing, when they decide if that's somebody they want to dance with. For me, it's definitely not. I mean, intricacy of figure is kind of a cool thing, because it indicates how much time somebody's put into tango and how much experience they have. But beyond just smoothness and how well somebody's dancing with each other, I definitely try to look at the faces and see if they're happy or if they're having a good time. And if you have that togetherness, I think for a lot of the people that are there looking for a good dancer, take a risk with a new person, that's what's important to people, not necessarily how intricate is your step and how, it's more about if you look like somebody that they can have fun dancing with.
For sure.
And Allison, I think we're both very similar in that we're both sort of tango introverts. Probably correlates a little bit with real personality, but we tend to want to dance with the same people, or we maximize dancing with that. In psychology, they call it the explore exploit paradox, which is terribly named, but it's about how much you want to explore versus how much you want to enjoy what enjoy the fruits of your exploration. So how much you want to dance with a new partner and see if that person is good and build a tango relationship with that person, or if you want to enjoy the tango relationships that you have and deepen those. I think I enjoy dancing with new people, but I would say 80% of the time I do prefer to dance with people that I kind of know and I enjoy dancing with, and
Yeah.
exploring things that I've learned in one context with that partner, or just kind of learning more about how they dance and just enjoying dancing with them.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's beautiful. And what I like about giving it a name,
Explore, exploit, paradox, or trade-off rather. Yeah.
trade off, okay, because sometimes if you don't have a name for the distinction, then you just go through life thinking either one, you don't realize that people are different than you, but then furthermore you kind of just assume that yours is the best way to handle things. And I feel like I went through a lot of my life thinking, oh, kind of like those more extroverted type people were, I don't want to say shallow, but to me it just felt deeper to deepen my tango practice with one person. But it's not a matter of being more shallow or better or worse. It's more just people have different levels of comfort. And so when you can acknowledge that, then you can kind of acknowledge that there's more than one really beautiful ways to be. Because now I can think, oh, someone who's really gregarious and like wants to dance with a bunch of different women and have that part of your mind where you're constantly reacting to new things, that sharpens your skill in a new way. And it's not better or worse, it's just different.
I think what you said is right about wanting to explore, different things with a single person. I definitely feel like that. Like if I like dancing tango with somebody, I want to dance a valse with them. I
Yeah.
want to dance a milonga with them. It's kind of like I like the way you are interpreting, this particular kind of music, and I want to know if we dance well together in all these other contexts, to a Disarli, to a D'Arienzo.
Hmm.
I definitely feel that, as opposed to I just want to try everything, which I think it's good as well.
Yeah, it sharpens a different part of your mind when you're having to constantly react. And it's just like we were talking about the different kinds of shoes. So I think the word that I was looking for at the time was meta learning, because it's like, okay, if you learn how to dance in a 2-inch pair of heels and you learn how to dance in a 3-inch pair of heels, not only have you learned both of those skill sets, but you've also learned the skill set of reacting quickly and to different heel heights, because then you could go back to your more steady practice partner. But if you've realized that a bunch of different women do something different when you do this one thing, then like you're going to pay more attention in that moment. It's just going to make you like, it heightens that sensitivity.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, shall we talk about your actual milonga
Yes.
experience?
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
you had this really great mindset going in, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you had a great time.
Oh my god. It was like how Stella got her groove back. it was like Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights.
Wow.
Everyone in San Diego wants me to move there.
All right.
And I kind of want to move there too, because they were all very welcoming. And shout out to my friend Diana, who is the best wing woman ever. She doesn't dance tango, but she just goes to be my wing woman, and she suggested it. She's like, we got to get you out. And I was like, that is so sweet. I was like, are you sure you won't be bored? You'll just be sitting there. And she's like, no, we should go. So shout out to her, because that's super generous. And so we go. Okay, I was looking at this one girl dancing, and I was so jealous, because the more you learn anything, whether it's tango or baseball or football, and you watch football on TV, you know how it feels.
Yeah.
There was this one girl there. I just like, I could tell how it felt to dance like that, because like she danced in such a similar style to me, and I was just like so jealous. So I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I know what that feels like, and I want to do that. But then it was like amazing, because it went from that feeling to then I was like dancing, and I'm like, I can dance like that.
Wow. Yeah. So you danced with quite a most of the night. Then you didn't really sit too much.
Yeah, and we were talking about the cabaseo. Okay, let me just like put an addition to our tango tip on the cabaseo. You can still make the cabaseo aggressive, which counteracts the whole point of the cabaseo. Sometimes people would do the cabaseo, but be like right in that corner with me and like staring at me. And I'm like, that doesn't help me because I still can't have a moment to myself. You're being just as aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Because I was getting like a little bit overwhelmed just from like all the newness. But I just decided to like go ahead and dance with everyone pretty much that asked me. I danced with some amazing dancers and dancing in different styles. Like someone was more nuevo, some people were more traditional. But I just like let myself go. It was like being a tango beginner again, but better because I knew how to do more stuff.
No, it makes sense because you're in a completely new environment, and there's a little bit of context transfer that you have to do. You of course have all this wealth of knowledge, but you are having to learn almost like a new dialect.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot how fun it is because like we were just talking about, like I like the deeper things where you really study something, but then I have forgotten how fun it is to kind of have those quick reactions and to just like learn something on the fly in the way you need to when you're dancing with someone new.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just so good to be dancing again.
So, Sean, what is your tango tip of the week?
My tango tip of the week, Allison, is choose unexpected music to dance to.
Oh,
Well, if you've been dancing for a while, it's pretty much guaranteed that you hear the same songs over and over again because classics are classic for a reason. And tango is a social dance, so you will end up with people that you like to dance with over and over again. And given these two things, it's pretty much inevitable that you will have tandas where you're dancing the same songs with the same partners. And the question is, how do you keep those dances interesting? Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely situations where it's fine to have the same dance with the same partner because everything just works out so well together. But when you want to explore new ways to dance, what can you do? And that brings us to the tango tip. Choose unexpected instruments to dance to. Really, this advice was given to me in the early days of my tango career. I was having trouble dancing to D'Arienzo, which, by the way, now is one of my favorite bands today. I was having trouble keeping up with such a strong, fast rhythm with my limited repertoire, so I asked my teacher, Jenny Bring, and she told me if I have trouble with the rhythm of D'Arienzo, I should find a slower instrument to dance to. So she explained to me that oftentimes in D'Arienzo, there's a violin that threads through the melody, or a vocal component that's a little bit slower than the bandoneon that's keeping the beat. So you can always dance to that. And then she gave me this challenge. She said, if you ever feel like you want to challenge yourself technically and artistically, try to dance to one instrument and then lead your partner to dance in another instrument.
wow. That is amazing advice. That's like so challenging, I imagine, because it's literally like tapping your head with one hand and then doing the tummy rub with another. How did that work out for you?
Well, the first time I tried it, honestly, I got a little bit overwhelmed, but I did started to notice it more. So, for example, in the movie Tango Lessons,
Sure.
there's a part where Sally Potter is dancing with 3 different dancers to Liber Tango. And at one point, Pablo Verón, who's the main tango dancer, is dancing this really legato part of the Liber Tango melody. And Sally Potter is dancing to the really staccato part. And because Liber Tango, the song, has so many of these layers, it gave me a really new appreciation for the choreography because I noticed what they were doing, where they were picking different instruments and different
Yeah.
layers of the music to dance to.
Oh, we will add that clip in for the listeners in the show notes because that is so magical when that happens. I know exactly what you're talking about because it's such a cool effect because literally as the audience is watching, it's like they see a visual representation of this score. You know, they see like the fast movements, like with the women's feet, and then the more sweeping movements. Yeah, if you can pull it off. regardless, because that's, I feel like, a pretty advanced tip. But I think it's still a tip that you could try in a variety of circumstances, even if you're not too advanced, because it speaks to the more you listen, both to the music and the partner, the more you'll connect.
Yes, and it's not necessary that you dance different parts of the music with your partner. You can both dance to the same part or the same layer or texture of the music. And actually, that reminds me of how different professional partners tends to emphasize different parts of the music. And a good example is actually Poema, and we can put the performances in the show notes. So there's one performance by Murat and Michel Erdemzel where the movements really emphasize the vocal and the legato parts of the song. It's long, it's elegant, it's deliberate, and just overall such a lovely performance. And then there's another performance by Noelia Hurtado and Pablo Rodriguez, and you can see them dancing to the much more rhythmic part of the music. And they're both really amazing performances from both a technical and artistic perspective, but they're emphasizing a different part of the music. And that actually reminds me of a comment that Jenny once made to me. And she said, when you watch really good couples dance, professional ones, they might look really different from each other, but they will always look like the music.
Oh my God, that is beautiful. Wow. Oh my gosh, no, that sentence gave me chills right there because, like, such wisdom. It's true. Yeah.
All right, and there you have it. Our tango tip of the week: choose unexpected instruments to dance to.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Tango with Sean and Allison. You can write to us at letstalktango@gmail.com, tweet us at letstalktangosa, or find us on Instagram at lets_talk_tango. Music in this episode includes logo by Dorian